Yo, welcome back. We are at everybody's favorite part, wiring. And by everybody's favorite part, I mean absolutely nobody. But this video is going to be strictly wiring, nothing else. I just got done. Oh, wait, hold on. Have you bought a shirt yet? Not a wrinkled up shirt like this. I just washed it. But have you bought a shirt yet? You need a shirt. You need some flip-flops. You need an LS Swap and some flip-flops. Go buy a shirt. www.krustyclassicsgarage.com. But let me show you where I'm at. So I just took the diversity higher and made room. I took the header back off, made some more room. So now we're good under there. Nothing's touching the floorboard anymore. The extension that the O2 sensor goes into. Where's my finger? There it is. Oh, where's your finger? Wait, no. Okay. See? Right there. The end right there. Yeah, you can't see. I'm too zoomed in. But that's got a good amount of 360 play, so I can put the O2 sensor wherever I need to keep it out of the way, and then I got room to put exhaust pipe on. But before we start, let me show you one of the most important tools when wiring. This. You need a test light. You have to have a test light. This is the most used instrument when doing wiring. You take this end, put it on either, if you're in the engine bay and you have a battery in here, put it on the negative post of the battery and then set this here. And this is your test for power. If say you're under the dash or something, then find somewhere metal under the dash. You should have a ground wire running from something to a spot under the dash and just hook it to that little ground, and then do the same with the fuse block. But we are not off to a good start, and I've known this for about a week now because I messed with this about a week ago. I am not getting any power. So here's the factory harness. I am not getting any power to the fuse block when I put any power wires and I connect them to power, specifically these are your most important ones. These right here run directly to the fuse block and give you power. And you're thinking, hey Krusty, how do you know that, man? Well, let me show you a little something I learned back in NAM, which was absolutely nothing. But these are factory fusible links right here. These black bad boys. And it's getting you. So what you want to do, if you're not getting power anywhere, you will obviously make sure that these are connected to power. Make sure the connections are good. And just the way I test for power is I'll run this to the positive post, and then you take your test light, you hook it up how I told you, and you test on each side of the fusible link. So you'll test this side if you're getting power, good. This side if you're getting power, good. But if you're not getting power on this side, then your fusible link is bad if you're getting power on this side. So you want constant power from here to here. This, if you're getting power at the front but not the back, then your fusible link is bad, and you snip it out and you put another fusible link, or you just run straight wire. Really isn't going to matter because you got fuses in the fuse block. Basically just added protection from the factory. But I have to go back through this, even though I already did it once, and I had to figure out why I'm not getting power in the fuse block. If you're not getting power at the fuse block, you're pretty much SOL, because that's everything for the entire car. Your headlights won't work, your taillights won't work, your key ignition won't work. Absolutely nothing electrical will work in the car. So off camera, because my luck, this is going to take days to try and figure out. There's another issue. I got this door open, which wasn't too difficult. I just had to pull your mom and lay across the center console. And I'm having an issue where the key it stops. So it doesn't come all the way back. That's off in lock position. But all it does is click over to accessory. I can't turn it all the way over like I'm trying to start the car. So I wonder if something's going on with the shifter or what, but that is something else I have to figure out now. So not only do I got to figure out why the fuse block isn't getting power, which is going to be an absolute debacle by itself, got to figure out why the key won't turn all the way, which is going to be its own week-long project, I assume. But let me dig into this, and when I get some figured out, I'll let you know. I'm not going to spend too much time trying to record that, because that's just wasted time for y'all watching me just go through wires. But I'll show you a little bit. Hopefully it's simple. Hopefully I just missed something last time I messed with it because I didn't try too hard. But I'm gonna dig into that now and see where we end up. I don't wanna be anything other than what I've been trying to be lately. All I have to do is think of me and my peace of mind. I don't know what I'm even saying. Oh, gotta turn the key on. Alright, so I don't know what I was doing last time, but I got this figured out way faster than I expected. Aside from the key, I still got that issue, but it is turning over into the accessory position, so I am able to see, well, actually, yeah, so I got, what happened? I just had power. Well, anyways, I found this burnt up fuse, which isn't a good sign. I think there's a couple more in there. I just had power to this one. Why isn't it? Is it because I turned the lights off? What happened? Oh, brother. Is it because I just started recording? Let's double check. Okay, that's back on. Did something get loosey-goosey over here? No, just like we were. It's the dealio, Amelia. What's up, bear? Did I miss something? Oh, I wonder if it's because I pulled that fuse out. Oh, great, thanks. That was a 10. Should we up it? 10 is all I got right here right now, so let's see what this does. What in the world? I just had power. What happened? Okay, I'll get back to you. Okay, so of course, the fusible link went bad, just like I mentioned. I think I mentioned. I don't know. I've been messing with wiring. I don't remember. But the factory fusible link and those double wires I showed you that go to the starter that give you power to your fuse block, 9 times out of 10 they will go bad, just like this one did. I guess because maybe it hadn't been hooked up to 12 volts in quite a while, and then me messing with power, it just burnt it up. So I cut out one. We still got the one there, and then so let's move on. I'm getting power where I'm supposed to again. So now this is a good thing about these. I guess you can, to me, I call these later year models because I'm so used to dealing with late 60s, early 70s. But they have a few more wires in the engine bay for the old engine transmission. And this one says ignition on it, but I believe this is one that goes to the starter to start it. This would be your key on wire, or your ignition wire. so that when you turn the key, this sends the signal to the starter to turn it over. 9 times out of 10 on all old school Chevys, it is purple, unless it's been messed with at some point down the road. But if you trace this wire all the way back to the fuse block on the inside of the engine compartment, this wire will be purple somewhere. So that's one thing to know. And then later year models, this says ignition 2, so I assume this went to some sort of distributor, key on power. Hopefully this is key on while cranking, because that's going to come in handy when we do the wiring harness. And then this wire looks to be a lot newer than the other wires, and it's ran with the harness, the car harness. So I'm not 100% sure what this goes to, but this also gets power when the key is on only. So this wire and this plug only have power when the key is on, which is a good thing. And then I need to check and see if they get key while power while cranking, or only when key is on. So if either one is key on while cranking, we will use that for the swap harness, because that is a very important wire to have. They labeled this one water temp, so if you wanted to, you could probably splice that into, oh, I gotta get a new sensor. This is the LS factory sensor, water temp sensor. You could probably splice that temp wire into the harness wire that plugs into the factory temp, and get temp to work on your dash on the original cluster. We're not going to use it. Or you could take out this bolt right here. See this one? Let me get you in there. That bolt right there. Come on, focus. Focus. Okay, you know which bolt I'm talking about. That little plug right there. You can take that out, and you can get an adapter, and you can put in a factory style gauge or a factory style sender unit, and then plug in your factory wire, and you'll get the coolant temp sensor, or the coolant temp on your dash. But the temp back there will be 20 degrees cooler than, no, yeah, it's 20 degrees one way. I don't remember. The CUDA has one in the head over here, but I never pay attention to it. But it's like 20 degrees cooler or hotter, one of the two, compared to the factory spot. But you can hook that up if you wanted to, or like we're gonna do, we're just gonna leave it alone, because just gonna make it a little more simple. This blue wire, no clue, no idea. Doesn't matter. This wire, no idea. All you need is power to the starter, your main power wires to the starter. You need your purple wire for ignition, or whatever color it is by now in your vehicle. And then you hook this one up to the small post of the starter. That one right there on top, just right above the big post. All your power wires go to the big post. And the only wire that's going to go to your small post is the key wire to crank or your ignition wire to crank the engine over. So there's that. You will also have 2 power wires, which we'll get into, that go from the harness to the big post of the battery. So you're going to have quite a few wires going to the big post of the battery, or the big post of the starter is what I mean. And then, like I mentioned in previous videos, do not put this manifold or header on until you get all your wires ran down to the starter, and then your crank sensor plug is right there next to the starter, which we will show you. But let me do a little bit more testing in the fuse block just to make sure I'm getting power where I need to get power. I'm probably gonna have to pull the steering wheel apart. Or USA. Oh, that's news. Usually we get Apaches flying over right here. Yeah, so it's in park. Maybe. I am not familiar with these vehicles, so you're probably laughing at me right now. It is locked for some reason. I wonder if it's just the key. This is the original key, so I wonder if maybe that's the issue. Maybe there's a little wiggling and jiggling you gotta You gotta know the motion of the jiggle. But yeah, all I get is off and one click over into the accessory position. Luckily I get that so I can check for power, but let me do some under here stuff, and then I'm gonna do some under here stuff, and then get under your mom's skirt. Oh, I'm sorry. Anyways. Wiring. One thing I hate more than being under your mom is being under a dash. It's annoying. So I think the ignition switch might be the whole issue. I can't say for sure, but that's where I'm gonna start. I gotta get a puller for the steering wheel. I gotta pull the steering wheel off. I took off the center console just to see if there was anything in here, like a switch or something. So this was a factory column shift car that was converted to floor shift, which which kind of confusing because this looks original, plus this has the date on it, 85, so July 17th 85. There is no column spot here for the shifter, but this could have all been replaced. They could have taken all this out from an SS car and stuck it in here. If y'all saw in the very first video, I removed the linkage here on the inside of the engine compartment. But this looks fairly original, but there's no neutral safety switch plugged into this, so I don't know. You tell me. I don't know what's what. All I know is we're keeping this. I thought maybe this not being in park was doing something here, but all I get is one click over, and I'm not getting anything. Nothing on the dash is coming on. Radio's not coming on. Blower motor isn't coming on. And for some reason now, ever since I first started recording again, I'm not getting any power to any fuse under there. The window doesn't work. The lock switch doesn't work. I can, let's see, I have it. No power, no power, no power, no power, no power. Power. No, still no power. Lights don't work. Headlights don't work. Tail lights don't work. Or tail lamps don't work. Let me see if I can see any reflection back. Oh, no, that ain't gonna work. No brake lights. So, unless there's one of the main fuses under there is no good, but that wouldn't explain why I had power earlier, but I don't have power now. I'm getting power here with the key on. So that one's getting power. That one's getting power. Oh, that's my ignition. So it's not the test light. It's nothing's going on in here. I have the starter bolted up to the block, so it's getting a good ground. I got the ground right there. There's something going on at the fuse block or the ignition switch that is not letting me get power everywhere else I need it. So tonight I'm going to order the stuff I need for an ignition switch, and I'll start there. So I'll see y'all tomorrow. All right, next day, and I just ended off where the key having to replace ignition, blah blah blah, and that is not the case. I was on the right track saying that the shifter wasn't letting the key turn over. I knew that was what it was. I was just so in and out of it from messing with this wiring under the dash and out here that this was a factory floor or a factory column shift. So remember, in the last couple videos, I took out the shifter rod, which it starts right there, that little, you see that hole? And then that shifter rod went down on the transmission. Well, this obviously dictates being in park, reverse, drive, all that on the column. So it was in like reverse or something on that side, on the engine compartment side. So now we're good. As of right now, I don't need to replace this anymore, because now we're going all the way over and we have all the positions. We got off, key, on, accessory, crank. So hopefully I don't have to replace the ignition switch. Obviously I started taking it apart, but it was just this I need to put back on. So yeah, this was converted, but it looks original, like I mentioned yesterday. But anyways, that's figured out, thankfully. But I'm still not getting power. I'm still not getting power under here. I was, and then I'm not, and I'm still not now. So I should be getting power here. I wonder if this fuse is bad or that fuse is bad. Because that fusible link went bad whenever I hooked it up to the battery. Windows still don't get any power. The lights aren't getting any power. Tail lights aren't getting any power. But I am, however, I'm still getting power at these two wires, which is good, and I'm getting power at the key wire when I crank it up, when I turn over the key. So that's good. It's just, for some reason, I'm not getting power to practically the accessories, is what it seems like. I wonder if I'm just missing something that's supposed to be plugged in the engine bay. Maybe you're yelling at me right now saying, it's over there, it's right there. Well, I'd appreciate it if you spoke up, because I do not want to be chasing this for 5 days, because I still got to get to that car. And wait till we get to that car. We're gonna really do some wiring on that bad boy. But there was a plug out here. Where is it? There's a plug from so this plug, oh no, that's oil. Where? Temperature. There was a plug that had a bunch of, why am I missing it? It was right, I threw it around about 8 times yesterday. See, that's all red wires right there. 2 red, 1 purple. So ignition power. I wonder if I'm missing something that's going on over here. Oh my goodness. This one. Okay, here we go. Sorry. This bad boy right here. So the red wire obviously gets power, and somebody wrote what it does, or what it gets power to, or where it goes to, but it's so faded, I have no idea. So I wonder, this looks like it would have been plugged into a relay of some sort, but I don't see anything. I wonder, okay, let's try this. Well, those 2 wires are cut, so I assume those went to nothing important. I wonder if I take this and I can't plug in that ignition. That wouldn't make sense. I can't, plugging power into power isn't going to do anything. Okay, just let me figure out what's going on. I just need power to the fuse block, and then I can put the harness on the engine and we can go from there. But if I don't get any power to the accessory spots on the fuse block, we might have an issue. Because I don't want it to be my fault or come across as I messed something up, and that's why headlights, tail lights, wipers, everything else isn't working like it should be. But let me dig into this, and I'll see you guys in about 30 days. Oh my gosh, I hate wiring. I hate it. It's simple. I mean, it's pretty straightforward when it's stuff like this. It's just, oh my gosh. So let me show you what I've been dealing with. So been in there. I was 50-50. I was like, this doesn't make any sense why I'm getting key. When I turn it, I'm getting key to or I'm getting power to the ignition wire from inside. I'm like, the fuse block has to be working. I have to be getting power to be getting power there. But I'm not getting any power in there with the test light, and I'm every spot that's metal in there, I've tried to get power or used as a ground for the test light. So anyways, I was like, I'm just not getting one. So I just literally, I run a wire from the negative post all the way in there. I got a red wire directly to power in there. And this whole time, I've been getting power to the fuse block. So I'm getting power at every fuse, at every spot with the key on, key off, power, 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 power. Some of these are going to be directly to the battery, and some of these are only going to be key on. So which one's going to be? So okay, there we go. Okay, never mind. So do I have a bad ignition switch? Okay. All these shouldn't be getting power with the key off. So bad ignition switch then? But I'm not getting, turn signals aren't coming on, lights aren't coming on. I'm at a loss. I guess I'm gonna have to replace the ignition switch. That's kind of the only thing that's making sense right now. But that's gonna be down the road because I need to get this thing running and finish the swap. Ignition switch can be done. That has nothing to do with getting it running. Well, kinda, sorta. Well, as long as I got key on power and key on while cranking, the only issue is the engine might not cut off with the key. So that might be an issue. I don't know. We'll see when we get there. All right. You guys like the realness of the channel? I don't keep things out of the videos that show my acousticness, and I've been very acoustic so far. Oh my gosh. So I figured out the wiring issue. Any guesses as to what it might be? If you guessed bad negative cable connection, you'd be smarter than me, which would be all of you. I had to sit down for a second because I've been racking my brain on this. I've diagnosed every which way, and then just now I put the power wire, or sorry, the purple ignition wire, I put it on the small post. I went to turn the key. Nothing happened. I was like, that makes absolutely no sense. If I'm getting power to the small post on the solenoid and I'm getting power to the big post at the same time, that means starter engages, engine turns over. And I'm just like, what is going on? And I was like, okay, let me just move this where I have this negative cable hooked up. And what would you know? Well, the windshield wipers were trying to work. But let's move this to a better spot. Oh. So, moral of the story, kids. Grounds are important, especially the one coming directly from the negative post. Okay, and let me check Where'd my purple wire go? Over here. Okay, we are not getting power. Okay, so this is also a way to check to see which wire is your ignition wire. Usually it's always purple, old school Chevys. Sometimes it might not be. Get your test light, just start putting it on wires and go inside and turn the key. And if it lights up with the key turning, then there you go. Let me see if I can set you up so we can demonstrate that real quick. Okay, let me know if it lights up. Headlights work. Headlights work. Oh my goodness. Isn't that lighting up? I couldn't see. Headlights work now. Ay, 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 Anthony. Get it together. You're trying to teach people how to do stuff and you don't even know how to do stuff. That makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? No, it doesn't. Go buy a shirt. Help me out. But now, I bet. Oh, blink flashers work. Flashers work. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I spent hours yesterday. I've spent hours today. Now, let's hook this bad boy back up. Another thing why, well, this is also one of the main reasons why I told you not to put this header on yet, or manifold, because of one, this exact reason we just went over with having to undo this to get to this wire and redo it. Two, you want to run these manifolds I'm using run very close to the block. So you want to take these wires and then also your crank sensor wire, and you want to run them as close to the engine as you can, tucked in there, all the way up behind the head. You do not want these wires anywhere in this vicinity because that manifold will burn them up. Ask me how I know. Or don't ask me, because with how acoustic I am, who's surprised? Okay. Now, in theory, when I turn the key, I don't have the lights on, do I? Turn the lights off, bro. Oh, okay, they're off. Now, in theory, I should turn this key and engine should turn over. Let's see. I have no clue what in the world. Let me get back to you guys. All right, we're good. False alarm. The battery was obviously pretty weak, so I got the Amazonian charger 8000 on it, and we are, well, let me try to get you in there so you can watch the crank pulley as I turn it over. Oh, we could also, if you guys like, I can show you how long it takes. Oh, never mind. Yeah, probably gonna need a new battery. That bad boy's toast. But we are clear to engage. And I don't mean with your mother. Or do I? But all right. We are good to move forward. Now we can zip tie some of this wiring to make sure it stays tucked in. We can get some of this wiring out of the way, and we can finally put that manifold on, and we can hook up a better ground, 1000%, and we can wire up the engine, and we can finally be done. And you can watch me work and watch me stop yapping and watch me being acoustic, and go buy a shirt, please. All right, I'll see you guys in a second. Alright, so the time has come. The time you all have been waiting for. Even though you could literally go back through my videos and see me do this about 8,000 times. But since you're here, we'll do it now, I guess. And I'll walk you through it and make this video even longer because you can't go back through my videos. Wonder where that wire goes to. Nothing important. You could go back to my videos and watch a short video of how to do this on any Gen 3 LS based engine with this Amazon harness, but we'll do it here. So you want to find the split in the harness. See this big gap right here? That gap that your mama doesn't have between her legs? That is what separates the harness. So that side of the gap, so I have the computer ends over here on the passenger side. Lay this out, find your gap. That side is going to be everything on this side of the engine, and this will be this side of the engine. It's just one way to kind of lay it down and see what you got, because I know a lot of people, they see this and they just freak out, which I completely understand because we've all been there. So let's just start on the passenger side. Won't worry about that side yet. So passenger side, we'll start with this one. This will be for your knock sensors, which at the moment we are not running. When I get into tuning it, we might take the intake off and do knock sensors, but since we're running the flat plate that the customer brought to me, I'm going to possibly tune it out, but there's things to that, so I'm just going to keep it simple right now with just the wiring, and we'll get to that in a different video. And then we have the cam sensor. Right here on the back of the engine, there is a plug-in sensor. And that is your cam sensor. So we're going to take this, wiggle your hand on down there, cut it a few times on something, find it, imagine hair. That's not working. I'm not used to hair on it. And plugged it in. There you go. And you are 2% of the way there. So alright, we got that plugged in. So we have, here's our gap still. Our gap is right here. Here's the knock sensor. So that's driver's side. We are passenger side, all this. And let's differentiate it even more to help you out. You got these two long. This is the main harness plug for the transmission. This is the variable speed sensor plug that goes on the sensor on the tail shaft of the transmission. We are just going to run that down here and get it out of the way. I like to just try and run it all the way down to the ground, basically, so that I can just get under there and plug it in. And then boom, you're 5% of the way there. Now, let's see this plug, just this plug right here, the white plug, and then its little minions all around it. That is your coil pack harness. So you're gonna come over here, and just for now, we're not gonna make it all pretty yet. Just for now, we're going to plug that bad boy in. And then I can show you better on that side, but your injector wires, once you plug this coil pack plug in, they literally line up. So this long injector wire will go to the front one, the one next to that goes to the next one, the one next to that goes to the next one, and so on all the way down the line. There's only 4. They literally just lay right on top of each other. I have to get the injector adapters, so I'll show you that too on that side. You need injector adapters if you're running truck injectors because this is set up for car injectors. The technical term is Multec, which is the truck adapters or the truck injectors, and to EV1 injector plugs, which would be this one. So I'll put the link in the description, make it nice and easy for you. But we're not gonna worry about the injectors right now because I gotta hook the adapters up. Along with this injector adapter, or the injector harness right here, you're gonna have this very long random one, and this is your map sensor. On this one, it's gonna go right back here, which that's a little wobbly, so that's probably gonna be a nice vacuum leak. Typically, if you're running a stock truck intake, it'll be on the back on the top, or if you're running a factory LS1, LS6 car intake, it'll also be in the back of the intake, just like this. So we're just gonna, all that extra wire, tuck it out of the way. It's not pretty yet, it's just a rough draft. Remember, it's gotta look ugly before it looks pretty. I just wanna do this so I can test fire it. And then next up, just hanging around, this long looking plug, this is for your O2 sensor. So that's gonna go down, basically run it with the transmission wires, because your O2 sensor is gonna go down there on the header. So bam, that girl's kind of out of the way. And then we'll move along to the very long, the longest extension part of the wiring harness on this side, and you will have your cam sensor. It is this long, and it runs directly with these two red wires because they both go to the same spot. This goes to the big post of the battery, both wires go to the big post of the battery, and then this sensor goes to the crank sensor, which is just, it's right next to the starter on the block. So I'm going to wiggle that down here because I have to run these with the other wires I ran to the starter to keep them out of the way. Because if these wires burn up, then you're pretty much SOL. Come on, any day now. Have you bought a shirt yet? Sorry, just wondering. No? Well, just go to the website. It's pretty easy. It's down in the description. You could spare 25 bucks. I can't, but you can. So, I'm gonna bring you in after I get this in, but I want to run these wires together. I got my cam sensor plug. Luckily, I have skinny hands, so I might be able to squeeze it in there. But where are you at, girl? Oh yeah, come to daddy. Imagine here. Find the hole. Imagine here. I'm losing it. I can't find it. I'm a rookie. Is that it? Come. Okay, got it. Now we'll take our red wires to the big post of the starter. Make sure. Well, I'll show you in a second. Oh my goodness, come on. Everybody work together for me. Oh, there it is. Okay, let me get you. Okay, so here's the injectors. Remember I said they just lay down? They literally just lay down. U to U, U to U, U to U, and then that one to that one. And then this is what I'm talking about. You're gonna have a lot of, well, it really just depends on your car wiring too. You're gonna have a lot of wires going to the big post. So don't let that freak you out. It's normal. And then you got your ignition wire and the small post. And then I like to run it, see how I got it coming down the block, tucked under that piece sticking out. And then I curve everything to the inside of the starter up against the block to really keep it away. And then I always run the starter wire under the in between here rather than right here where it's easy, because you're going to want to keep as much away from the manifolds as possible. And I'm going to take those wires are all right there. I'm trying to zoom in. I'm going to take all of those and I'm going to bundle them up and zip tie them together and really squish them together and make sure they're tucked in there. And then back here where they're running down the back behind the cylinder head, I'm going to pull them as far this way as I can. And that should give me enough clearance so that the header, the manifold isn't touching them, but I'm not going to know till I mock up the manifold. But yeah, you see your transmission wires right there. So that will plug into the side of the transmission. There's a big circular plug that one into that one, and it only goes one way, so you can't really get that wrong. And then the other one goes farther back to the tail shaft housing. Oh, I'll show you right here. So the circular one goes to that one, and then the other one goes to the tail shaft housing. That is 4L60E. 4L80s are the same, but plug-in wise they're the same. What else? So there's that side, and then while we're over here, you want to take this red wire, and wherever you can find in the engine bay, you can find a wire that gets key. It has to have 12 volt on, and then it has to stay 12 volt on when you're turning the key. So there are wires that you'll get key on power, but when you go to crank over, it won't stay powered. You want to find one that stays powered, because this is what powers the fuse block and the ECU. So you need to get spark. You need this getting key on power and key while cranking power for it to send its signals to the sensors for it to spark and run and whatnot. And then you have this single ground wire. You want to put this somewhere on the body. Actually, I'm going to move all this over there, but it's the same thing over there. You want to take this wire and find somewhere on the body, see, like that, really clean it up with a grinder or something so you have a nice shiny ground. And you have to make sure you got that. And then you got your OBD2 port, and then you have all these extra wires, which for me personally, I don't worry about them. They're a bunch of extra wires for like tach and check engine light and cruise control, blah blah blah, bunch of different ones. The only one we'll worry about in these videos is this purple one, and that will go to the TCC switch, which is your torque control converter switch. I think that's what TCC stands for, but it's for the torque converter, unlock and locking it up when you press the brake pedal. That'll be a different video because that's a pretty quick deal. But if you want to see all that stuff right now, just go back through my videos. You can see it. It's the same for every swap. But let me get you guys. We will run this side of the wiring, and remember, it's not going to be pretty yet. I'm not cleaning it up yet. That's the very last thing we're going to do. No sense in me making it all nice and pretty and then test firing it, and then I blow a rod through the block. Please don't blow a rod through the block. Please don't. But let's get to this part. All right, now we are on the passenger side. And you know you're on the passenger side because, one, you're going to look at your gap. And you got the knock sensor plug that we're not using at the moment. We might down the road, but we'll get there. And then you have this ground. This is very important. You have one ground right here, and this will go to the back of the head. On the driver's side, I have a bolt here already, but that's going to go to the back of the head. And that is very important for your injectors working. Let's see if I can. I might not. Oh, can I get in there? Of course I can get in there. Just ask your mom. Okay. Make sure it's tight. That's pretty finger tight. That'll work. And then you can keep moving over. And this is your other O2 sensor for down there. Oh. This way. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, I'll get that in a second. And then move along, you got your injectors. And just like the other side, and they literally just line right up with each other. So, plug this in. Get your injector adapters, whatever, do what you gotta do, plug those in. And then this is where it gets a tad bit interesting, but only because now I guess these harnesses, no matter what, keep coming with these two plugs you don't need. So we'll start here. You got this circular one, and then ran with that one you have this square one. This one is your TPS sensor, and this is only if you have drive-by cable. If you have drive-by wire, you don't have these. That one's going to go. Give me some slack. Oh. Okay, there we go. You gotta move that ground wire. This one's going to plug in. Plug in. Thank you. And then this is your IAC, idle air control. And you're going to plug that in. And then this one is going to be your mass airflow with all these multicolor wires. You're running a 5-pin mass airflow. And then this one is, oh, is that one the one that's weird? Oh, yes, that's the weird one. We'll get to that one. And then this little 2-prong one will be your water temp sensor, which will be right here. And then, no, that's the weird one too. Okay, yeah, okay, sorry. So these are your weird ones. You have this 3-pin connector and this 2-pin, and they'll be right next to each other. Just get those out of the way for right now. And then these two, this single wire, well, this one actually has 2. This will be your alternator, so your alternator will go right here or wherever you put it. And then the one going with your alternator plug is your water temp, and that will go over here. So let's pretend like we have those plugged in. And then we have our 5-pin mass airflow plugged in. Well, this comes with a 3-pin mass airflow sensor plug, which it shouldn't have it. And then it comes with an IAT sensor plug, which it also shouldn't have it, because those two things are all together in the 5-pin. This 5-pin means you don't need this, because that's what this is why this has 5 wires, because it does everything the IAT and this other mass airflow wire do, which literally 3 wires on this one, 2 wires on this one, 5 wires on this one. So you don't know if you're going to run, well, we're going to run a 5-pin no matter what, but you don't know if you need an adapter. You might hook this up to the 5-pin and the engine will run like it's supposed to, or you'll hook this up and it'll run horribly. And if it does, you'll get the adapter, which, let me go grab real quick. You will get this adapter, and it takes the IAT plug, and it goes into there, and it takes the 3-pin plug, and it goes into there. It goes into, thank you, and it gives you the same 5-pin end as this one. Same thing. It's just, I don't know why they do it, but you have to run this adapter and then plug this into the 5-pin mass airflow sensor. And then if your engine runs good, then you just run with this and you just leave this hanging like I did your mom last Saturday at 2 a.m. after the dive bar. She made me mad. But you leave this hanging. Or this will work perfectly and you will just leave, you will leave these two just hanging. Or you can cut them out, you can do whatever. I usually just zip tie them out of the way. I will put this adapter in the description, but you won't know if you need it when you go to get the engine, until you go to get the engine running, because like I said, you'll either plug this in and it'll run good or bad by itself, or you'll get the adapter and you'll plug it in and it'll run good or bad by itself. You don't know till you get it running and you do that. But yeah, so let's wire up the harness. Let me bring it over here. And I'm just going to rig up, hooking the red wire up, and then I'm just going to put the ground somewhere right here, probably where this one is. And we're just going to, oh dang it, I can't. I gotta run, I was gonna click the fuel pump on, but that will have to be a different video. That'll probably be the next video. I just wanted to click it on and show you guys just plugging in, but I got to run the wires from the fuel pump. But that is it. I legitimately cannot make hooking this up any more simple than I just did. I literally went through it step by step, plug to plug, and that's really it. So next video, we will run the fuel pump wire. We will hook it up to the relay. And we'll put my injector adapters on. I will get, oh, I have the mass airflow sensor actually. I'll hook all this up and then we will test fire it and make sure that it at least runs and doesn't make any bad noises so that I can finish it off. But there's that. So there it is. Appreciate you watching. I hope that was thorough enough. I apologize for all the misdiagnosing at the beginning of this video, but I was going to, at the moment, I was going to delete a bunch of that, but I like you guys seeing how it really is when working on vehicles. It's not all just straightforward and straight to it and it works out every time. That is not how working on vehicle goes, which I'm sure a lot of you already know that, but for those of you new to this, this is how it's gonna be. It's gonna happen at some point. Go buy a shirt, please. I don't think I mentioned that yet. So yeah, that would be great. But yeah, next we will hear it test fire. I also I'm a Looney tuner now, so don't be hitting me up all at once to tune your vehicles. You know what I'm saying? But I gotta set up that. I'll set up that ECU before I plug it in. Well, I have to plug it in first, but I'll set up that ECU to get a base tune set on it so that I can actually let it sit here and idle. Next video, I got to do the transmission lines too and the transmission cooler. Ay. But anyways, I appreciate you watching. I hope this helped. I know wiring scares a lot of people, which I completely understand because I started at the beginning too at some point, so it wasn't always easy for me. Hopefully I laid it out well enough for you to understand it step by step and get you going. But yeah, appreciate you watching. Like, subscribe, follow. Say, Mom, I'm sorry about last Saturday. I didn't mean to forget about her or leave her in the dust. Kind of did, but But anyways, appreciate you watching. Just go LS swap something, please, and wear my shirt doing it. See you next time.